Hello everyone. We often get asked this question in our TT Maximum store. I have blade X. Can you tell me how to choose the right rubbers for this blade? Or sometimes the opposite question is asked, how do I choose the right blade for specific rubbers? People probably want some specific advice. They want to get a list of actions they need to follow. For example, take your blade in your hands. Brew some bergamot tea and add 3 drops of cognac. Stick a National Hurricane on your blade and don't worry. Okay, but this is a question that doesn't have a definitive answer, because there are many unknowns. For example, what specific technical elements is the player planning to perform with this racket? What is his tennis level? What firmness of the blade does he like? What flexibility of the blade does he need? What about the shape of the handle? What type of rubbers does the player prefer? How thick should the sponge of the rubbers be? What about the softness of the rubbers? Also, the weight of the racket may be important. And so on. As you can see, the answers will be different for each player. Therefore, the entire racket setup needs to be tailored to the specific player. It should match their level and playing style, their preferences, and their needs in the game. Some might think this is too complicated and, as a result, just quickly ask a friend for advice and order a racket. This is roughly the same as going to a store and buying pants, a jacket, and shoes without trying them on first. Then you will come home and most likely realize that they don't fit, are too tight, uncomfortable, or don't look good. So the question of how to choose rubbers for a blade or a blade for rubbers is essentially not the right question. It's simply not the right way to ask. You need to select everything based on your playing style. The ideal racket is one that doesn't hinder your play and helps you do what you want to do comfortably during a match. By the way, while we're creating interesting and useful videos and reviews for you, be sure to visit our TT Maximum store more often for your purchases. That would be the best way for you to thank us for our videos. An important point, the racket has to feel good. When you take it in your hand, when you play with it, you should feel pleasant sensations. When a racket is new and freshly assembled, it might feel uncomfortable at first. You need to play with it for 1, 2, 3 training sessions to get used to it. After that, the sensations from using the racket should be comfortable and pleasant. If this is the case, you will enjoy playing, and everything you do will turn out a little better. If the racket causes discomfort, it will reduce your overall satisfaction with the game. It will constantly distract you. As a result, you'll have less fun, face additional discomfort, and the quality of your game will suffer. If the racket is not correctly chosen, it limits your abilities. I'm talking about a professional racket made from a good blade and quality rubbers. And if, after getting used to it, you find out that the racket doesn't fully meet your tastes or needs, that's a problem. It's bad. It's better not to continue using such a racket. I will also mention cases when you buy a ready-made racket from a large sports store or supermarket. Let me say this clearly and briefly, guys, this is crap. These are fly swatters, not rackets. Their properties are much worse than those of rackets assembled from individual professional parts. They play much worse. Everything you do at the table will turn out much worse. By the way, if you haven't liked this video yet, now is the perfect time to do so. And while you're at it, subscribe to our channel. If you personally compare the gameplay and your impressions of a racket bought from a supermarket or large sports store to a professional racket, you'll quickly notice the difference. It's like comparing bread with sugar to a delicious pastry with cream. The difference is huge. Rackets in supermarkets and big sports stores may have names like Torneo, Atemi, DHS, Stiga, Donic. It could be any name. These rackets are only good for swatting dust from carpets or digging in a sandbox. I recommend not touching this trash even with a 10-foot stick. By the way, good ready-made factory rackets do exist. They are produced at the same factories that make high-quality professional equipment. They represent an acceptable compromise between price and playing properties. These rackets can be bought by some beginners who just want to try the sport and not get into details. They may not know if they will continue playing and training or if they will just occasionally play with friends on a street table instead of playing cards. We have such rackets. Some of them we've even tried in play to confirm their acceptable quality. So when choosing a racket, consider what you want to do with it and how often. What weight do you need? If you already have a blade or rubbers, analyze if they match your needs. If not, you'll constantly experience discomfort and frustration. If you're not familiar with the equipment and need help, just reach out to TT Maximum. We will ask the right questions and suggest the best options for you. This is the quickest way to get a racket that suits you better. Comfortable for you, easy, and as fast as possible with minimal hassle. That's all. If you have any questions on this topic, feel free to ask them in the comments below the video.